Sanibonani, dumelang, absheni, hello. Igama Xolani Ntuli. I'm here to do the Q's and the A's, the questions and the answers. I was supposed to feature a Oshyn publication, but because of the technical issue we've experienced, we decided to do a one rather than a featured a live stream. So yeah, stories of the poet. The reason we are here talking about these stories of the poets. I'm gonna read the questions and try to answer according to Oshyn publication in terms of what she wanted to ask, basically what the presentation was supposed to reveal. So the first question, okay, rather, let me read the bulb again. Yeah, so you understand the stories of the poet. Stories of the Poet is a collection of poems by Xolani Ntuli, which is me. Okay, now I'm going to the bulb. So in the world of silence hearts, people are afraid to speak out, to be called whistleblowers. This is how we heal when we tell our stories, even if it's uncomfortable. The truth shall set us free. Everyone has a story to tell. We are all authors of our lives. This book contains stories of the poet. We all poets, it's just that we don't know it, as one use the language to communicate, to be heard, understood, and accepted. The purpose of this book is to give a reader confidence to be inspired to tell his or her own story. At the end, it will welcome you to the different world in how we perceive it. It is only the brave who speak their mind and who allow their inner voice to be heard or to be active. Some ignore the inspiration within, as it sometimes serves as a guidance in everything we do. Stories of a poet have poetic stories that will leave you banging your head against the wall, and it will leave you with questions and answers in this journey of life in a modern world. After all, we all need to heal until we become better. Yeah, right there. Stories of the poet. So let me go straight to the questions. The question is, tell us about yourself. Okay, Xolani Ntuli is the author of Stories of the Poet. I'm born a griot, a poet. I'm a creative writer. Mzansi Poetry Academy alumni 2017. Current state of poetry, youth development in Joburg, founded by Vusumuzi Parati, class of 2018. Okay, that was the first question. And then the second question will be, why did you get your book published? Why did I get my book published? Okay, straight talk. It's an infinite writing, for me. I write a lot. I have a lot of things to say. Poetry has allowed me to express myself. So now this is the only way to document what I'm trying to say to the world, what I'm trying to communicate, how best I can use this language of poetry for people to understand the poet. Because people don't understand what is poetry and what is a poet. It seems like history, has its own way to erase us. Because when I studied the masters, I found out that I'm a griot. So a griot basically is someone who's a historian, a storyteller. It can be a praise singer. Yeah, it can be a poet as well. Yes, that was the second question. So, why the title of Stories of the Poet? Okay, for me, why I chose this title to name it Stories of the Poet, I found and discovered that poetry itself, as an imaginative writing, it's a form uh, of storytelling. So rather you call them poems. On my side, I call them stories of a poet. You know, whether you call them your short stories, whether you call it spoken word, but for me, these are stories, and following the tradition of African oral tradition, where we used to tell our stories or tell our history rather than writing it down. It was spoken. So it's basically that I'm trying to bring that people to be aware that even poetry or poems are regarded as stories, although we use the poetic devices to tell or to communicate in this language that you call a poet. Yes. And then now we're going to go to the fourth question. What's your book it's all about? Yes. What the book is all about? Basically, the book, it's a collection of poems. These stories basically are a language, in terms of I'm trying to communicate to the world. As a poet, I'm an observer. I'm trying to give them a taste of my medicine, in how I perceive the world, as and how I can use words to heal, or how can we use uh, reading, writing, or poetry as a means of healing. So I've noticed that as poets, we are healers of words. We are language keepers, basically. We preach the spiritual world and the physical world. So that's what this book is all about. It's gonna give you guidance, courage, inspiration, awareness, of course, because it speaks on gender-based violence. It speaks on social problems, fatherhood, motherhood. Yes, basically this agent voice is commanding, in a sense, that these stories will inspire you to write your own story, so that tomorrow you don't wake up being fake news. Now and then it's propaganda. Our history books are full of propaganda, so it's best when we tell our own stories, for sure. uh, what way I'm going through now, it's a fifth question. What was my expectation according to Oshyn publication? Oshyn publication want to know what was my expectations, rather, when I'm working on this project. So it's simple. For me, my expectations about this project, it was to reach out, you know, to communicate, and my expectations was to people to receive these stories, because poetry for me, it's we collect these emotions in our environment, and then we give them back to the people, and in that way, it's me expecting these stories to reach people, because they are no longer my stories. you know they are no longer my stories. We use poetry to entertain, we use poetry to inform, we use poetry to tell these stories. So basically that was my expectation, although we are experiencing difficulties in this lockdown. But yeah, for sure, the first print, I'm going for a reprint now. You can take orders. I'm taking orders, of course. Sometime next week the books will be available again for the reprint. Yeah, so that's what I'm focused on right now, based on my expectation, is to reach out as much as I can to submit to the Department of Education, because this, I believe that a dream is not a dream until it is shared by a community. So this was my dream. My dream is to commercialize poetry. My dream is to make people understand what is a poet, or rather what is a griot. Yeah. So that's that. It's not a curse. It's a talent. It's a blessing. It's a tradition. So that's my expectation. These stories, they must reach the community. Thanks. So now I'm going to the sixth question. According to Oshyn publication, the sixth question. Oh, okay. Yeah, the expectations, ne? And the challenges. Okay, and the challenges. Okay, that I've faced. Okay, I've mentioned the expectation about this project. Now I'm gonna talk about the challenges to be published. What I've experienced. Basically, I'm more of a storyteller, and then my challenge was proofreading and editing, because I'm a clumsy writer sometimes. When you write as a poet, it's like you are possessed. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. I know some of the poets can relate with this, that you find yourself sometimes expressing whatever you want to express, and it's infinite. It doesn't stop. So that was my challenge. For me, infinite writing, I don't need to follow the rules sometimes of writing, your punctuation, your full stop, your what, your commas, your inverted commas. So basically, when I write, it's a free flow. I write, and then try to understand what the inner voice is trying to say. So that was my challenge. Editing, proofreading, because remember, this is a project that must receive the hands of the reader. So it must be digestible, it must be professional, it must fit to the creative writing regulations, rather. Yes, that was my challenge, basically. I've noticed that I need to do a proofreading, get proofreaders, get someone who's going to edit my work, even though I know that I'm going to refer to my publisher, of which is Oshyn Publication. Yeah, that was the challenging again. Okay, back to sixth question. 2 poems that Oshyn liked, was asking maybe, that are my favorite. Maybe try to read. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. 2 poems. My favorite poems, it's the poem that I'll write you. The poem that I'll write you, I think it's on page 28. That is my favorite poem. Yeah, page 28. The poem that I'll write you. I'll read it so that you understand. Basically, this is dedicated to all the women. I've seen that the history has a way to erase a woman's story or her story. So basically, the system is like it's been designed to, in terms of patriarchy system, because it's basically about his, not hers. You know, yes. So this was me trying to retell. Was me trying to retell the story rather. So the poem I'll write you. Shout out to the women, the life givers, the onk of life. You know, I know that because of uh, power abuse, they are victims of gender-based violence. They are victims of all sorts of violence that I can mention. You know, so the poem that I'll write you. The poetry that I'll write you, if only your name had roots, where your face glows hope. I'll write about seeds of life that grow whole, of your eyes that represent the moon and the sun. For I believe you are a seed blooming into a womanhood, a petal that is colorful and fragile, a flower on a making. You are not a white flower, bitter herbs. Instead, I'll write about Mother Earth, children of the soil who grew in hope in your promised land. I'll write about new day, a new year, changes in our lives that breed rainy days, of the rainbow that symbolize your beauty on the sky, your true color that is visible to the naked eyes. I'll write about your love at first sight. I'll write about you. Yes, that was my first favorite poem, according to Oshyn publication. Uh, yeah, I think there were two poems, and then there is Torso of the Earth, which is page 24. My second favorite uh, poem, Torso of the Earth. Okay, basically, Torso of the Earth is body of Earth, right? So Mother Earth, I regard Mother Earth I'm in a womb. I'm experiencing this experience physically, as a spiritual being. My body is a vehicle, so I'm in a womb basically. As I take it, Mother Earth. So Source of the Earth, it goes like this. Suppose the change in your life would be your star in the sky. That I hope one day the heavens will read you the sign. Dark clouds will surrender to you with heavy rains trapped on four corners of the earth. Suppose you drown in the air, but woke up because of just a dream. To find memories have been replaced by a big snake. Its eyes shine bright like a moon, provoking darkness at night. So you take a knife and draw on a wall a picture of a rainbow. You cut it half and let it bleed on your own hands until it becomes your own tears. That's when you feel you're at home. Joy, peace, and happiness on my eyes. Tell a beautiful scenario. Source of the earth. Yeah, those were the two of my poems that I can read for now. Maybe we can close with Mothers Who Are Fire. The poem that was inspired by Busisio Mashanga in his book Surviving Loss, one of the great writers. She wrote something beautiful about fathers who are water. So Mothers Who Are Fire was like some sort of a response poem to that. Yes. In closing, I'll do that. I hope I don't forget. So here it was unexpected question. I wonder what was the question, basically. I'm not sure what um okay. Number 9, the message for the people. That was the question, or rather, a request, a message that I have for the readers. Okay, the message that I have for you guys is a dream is not a dream until it is shared by a community. I believe that we are a dream world. We are in a dream world. We are dreamers, and we dream. We want to make these dreams come true. Sometimes, you know. So if you have a dream and then you share it with the community, you'll find that one of these poems, as a dreamer, can save someone's life. By reaching out to the community, you'll find that these stories I've written here, they can change someone's life's perception. It can be a getaway, to your misery. It can be an inspiration. So that is why I say dream is not a dream until it is shared by a community. Yes, I hope I'm clear, audible. Uh, okay, let me go to number 9. Yeah, number 9. No, but number 9 is different question. So I'll skip number 9 and go to number 10. So number 10, will you recommend Oshyn publication and why? Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not sure if it's visible. Oshyn publication. I'm not sure if it's clear. Yes. Definitely I will recommend Oshyn publication. And why? I love the professional standards here. You see how beautiful the project is. It's glossy. It's well formatted. The layouts, like I'm in love with this project. I'm in love. Like I wasn't expecting this, basically. So that's another reason I will recommend Oshyn publication. Professional standards. It's glossy. It's like there's light, in us, and then the professional standards, and step by step. That's what I've experienced with Oshyn publication. Like as a publisher, she doesn't leave you hanging. She'll give you advice, suggestion on what to do according to the field, to field marketing, as an author, in terms of entrepreneurship. Yes, that's another thing. And then, oh yeah, before I forget, it's there is reasonable pricing in terms of the different packages that you can select from. It's reasonable prices, and we are able, she's like, as a publisher, she's able to negotiate in terms of your budget, in terms of fitting your budget. Yeah, so for me, I was honored, because even so my budget, didn't fit other packages, but because of the special that was available, I was able to publish my work. She was able to make my dream to come true as an author. Yeah, that was the 10th question. So basically, we have reached the the end of the questions according to Oshyn publication. What I would love to share is look out for the work. I'm working on an album. I'm working on other projects, Ghetto World, which is another poetry collection I'm trying to compile. And then Ghetto World Volume 1, which is another project that I'm working on. I'm trying to combine short stories and poems all in one. So look out for the work. Soon and very soon I'll be announcing that. Okay, the book is $150. For now, you can receive it from the author itself. Yes, the book is $150. Yeah, you'll see when it's available on online stores. You know, your Smashweight, your Lulu, your Amazons. You know, we create. You know, since the world is going digital these days, fourth industrial revolution is here. So basically, we're gonna create that so that, you know, I can reach globally. You know, I'm gonna do an audio book on this, which will be available again online stores. You know, I'm not sure about SoundCloud, but I know that definitely iTunes and other paying online platform, you'll receive this book as an audio. Yes. Slide into the DM when you need a book. Don't be afraid. We have a page, Stories of a Poet. On Facebook, it's Xolani Ntuli Obvious. On Instagram, it's Extreme Poet. Yeah, there's a lot of products basically I'm working on. So there's this company I'm developing, which is Extreme Arts. You know, so this project this product is the product of Extreme Arts as a book, and then I'm offering codes there, extreme codes, and then yeah, more short stories, more writing, more poetry album, you know, more development. Yes. So I don't know, maybe should I leave you with a poem just for control, or maybe I can read rather from the book itself. Yes, I think I'm gonna read from the book itself. And then it's gonna be the end of the session. But we'll try to host other online event, maybe using a different platform, because Facebook today we experience a technical problem. Yeah, so there's gonna be more of engaging online. So I'm gonna read Marikana. Yeah, Marikana, a poem from the book. What happened in August 1624, year 2012? What is freedom of expression? Why are they doing this to the defenseless nation? There are many events such as this where we tend to be living sacrifice. We all have different stories to tell. Let us break this silence because we live in the midst of violence. I have a question. When the thunderstorms strike, will you be quiet? Who is to blame for the killing of the miners? It is time to mourn as dark cloud has invaded our country. Floods of the blood turn into a mud. What do we do with all these bodies? They no longer have life. How do we give them a second chance to tell their stories to their families and friends? How can I separate the blood from the soul and return it to their owners? Whose soul is still searching? Whose head turned to sideways when they resist? My life have value. It doesn't help living under these conditions: slavery, brutality, and murder, killing one another, forgetting that you are your own enemy. Do guns kill people or people kill each other? Tell me, do I have to die for this paper money, plastic money? The bitter truth is better than a sweeter lie. They kill us and replace us. Who's fooling who? Television turn into entertainment. I feel like I'm amusing myself to death. A man who reads a newspaper is no better than a man doing nothing. A front page newspaper is still a president smiling faces. Let us pray. Who has the time to kneel and give thanks and ease to the Most High? Whose heart is this? Filled with anger and rage. What is forgiveness? When we have to fight for your life, why are they against us when God is with us? How do we turn the youngsters into believers when the devil is a liar? All this time he deceives us. Poverty forces you to forget about your ambition. I never knew that. Ask me anything. Question and answers. What have we done? Marikana. I leave you with that. Mbonge, Oshyn Publication. I would love to thank Oshyn Publication for this time, in these hard times, in this busy schedule, for making this time, to share these stories, So, yes, definitely look out for Oshyn Publication. Oshyn, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of upcoming books under Oshyn Publication. Yes, Sbong, Nani, Stemb, ukuthi you're gonna purchase, date an artist, pay a poet. That's how we do it when we advocate for arts and literature. Peace. Stories of the poet.